Welcome everyone to another episode of Let's Talk Special Economic Zones. I'm your host Ainsley Brown, and in today's episode, we're going to speak about special economic zones and money laundering. Now, unfortunately, zones are a target for money laundering. It's an unfortunate situation, but it's one that both the regulator and or regulators around the world, that zone regulators and otherwise, and investors should be aware of. Now, this can take place or occurs in many different forms. One of the ways is zones, and of course you have to address the names, free zones, special economic zones, foreign trade zones, enterprise. It's all the same thing. Now, it can occur because, at least in the first instance, because a zone is a real estate investment. So, just like other types of money laundering or ways of money laundering happens through real estate, zones are targeted for, in order to, make dirty money, money made from illicit activities clean, right? And give it a sense of legitimacy with the money and the investor says sense of legitimacy within the system. The other way, which is more the mainstay, I suppose, is because of how zones operate. The one universal fiscal incentive that is given across the board, you can see, is where duties, customs duty relief, provided the goods remain inside the zone. That's given across the board in basically, I would say almost 100% of zone configurations. However, because of that, that becomes the target for what's called either under invoicing or over invoicing. And I won't get into the full details of that, but basically, what it does is that they're trying to say that the value of the goods are either worth, in a sense of under invoicing, the value of the goods are worth less than what they actually are, and over, they're worth more. And the whole point of that is then to um, launder money through the system. And also because you have brought the goods in into the zone duty free, you then can say, but I added value when you never did, and then export it back out, which then becomes payment for, or can become payment for illicit activities. So the zones are used in a way to traffic goods and be a conduit through which um, payments are made in exchange for whatever activity or other types of illicit goods, guns, drugs, um, people trafficking, it all can differ, and they try to use it. Criminal elements try to use it for such purposes. So those are the things that are regulators, zone regulators, and other regulators, and even investors are on the lookout for in terms of zones, and how those get used, zones get used, um, and sometimes unwittingly, unknowingly, because of just not knowing or not putting in certain mechanisms in order to catch these things. So some of the mitigating measures that can be put in place, and this is not a absolute, are audits and post audits type of things that can be put in to say, okay, you said you've added value. What's your value added process? What's your manufacturing process? Let me see this. Let me examine this without disrupting your operations. Of course, you could do overt or covert operation, schedule audits, unscheduled audits. It all depends, and differs depending on the jurisdiction and the objectives of what you're trying to uncover. So, if you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want me to do a particular topic, just leave a comment down below and I'll be right with you.